Last year, Dave Castro reached out to me immediately after 25.3 to see how I knew what the workout was. I posted on threads and I posted on my stories about 15 minutes before the announcement with all the equipment already lined up, the equipment that they used in that workout. This year, the exact same thing is going to happen for 26.1. Dave, I look forward to hearing from you. I'm going to tell you what that workout is in a second. But first, I want to talk about the $20 bill. The $20 bill is a controversy that rages on amongst CrossFitters on the internet in our little niche about whether or not you're supporting CrossFit and the CrossFit community if you do the workouts but don't pay your $20. There's a whole group of people who are like, hey, what's wrong with you? You're going to do the workouts and do all this stuff, but you're not going to pay the $20 or you're boycotting or what's going on there. And then there's this other group who's like, I think it's all about the community and showing up for Friday Night Lights. It doesn't matter if you pay the money. I'm not here to bash one side or the other, but what I am here to do is to bring some needed context and logic. Where this is coming from is a Reddit thread that I was reading about whether or not to pay your $20 for the Open. And the overwhelming theme in that thread was that you should do the Open and be all about CrossFit in your community, but you sure as heck should not send your $20 to HQ because either they killed Lazar or they're a bunch of morons or they're corporate overlords and they don't deserve your money. And the argument that I want to bring to the table for that is that you're not doing anybody any favors by not paying your $20. Look, I'm not going to crucify you if you don't. That's your choice. But at the same time, what you need to understand is that there are consequences beyond just the immediate $20. It's not like you can just say, oh, we're not going to give HQ money because we don't like HQ, and that there's no other ramifications beyond that. And not to pick on Lauren Khalil, but there's a clip from Lauren Khalil that I think perfectly encapsulates this.
It reminds me a lot of Catholic guilt. I want to see these athletes succeed. I want to see more money in their pockets.
But the children, think of the children.
And it kind of encapsulates the whole community of protesters from the Open last year. Living in the now, living in their emotion, not thinking about the long-term consequences and the long-term health of CrossFit and the things that they do. It's the same thing with the WFP and the blank check or the unlimited credit card, whatever it is, and whether it's actually good for the sport. Because I think that what's good for the sport is getting more people to do CrossFit so that there's a natural demand, because Jimmy Joe Bob on the weekend doesn't drink his Miller Lite and watch Toast Bar. I've said this a million times before, but you get the point. We want to go with logic here. This clip of Lauren.
So it's one of those things that in my mind, like if I'm on the fence of signing up for the Open or not, and I'm like, oh, I'm feeling bad or guilty that if I sit here and say the athletes should be paid more, the athletes should be professionalized and treated like in all of these ways, but then I don't sign up for the, like, it just makes me feel like Catholic guilt if I don't do it.
Kind of in real time shows you what happens when someone is confronted with this idea that the $20 may go beyond just not supporting this supposed dictator that is oppressing all of us and that killed a man on a lake in 2024. Oh, okay. So you mean it affects the athletes too? The HQ's doing what they probably should have done all along as a business, which is saying that the correlation between what the athletes paid is going to be directly tied to the Open, because that's where the money comes from. That's just common sense. And in fact, if the Open had done just the status quo and not grown at all, the athletes would have got paid way more. People boycotted and they didn't. And in real time, you saw Lauren saying, well, I don't like that HQ saying if I don't give my $20, the athletes aren't going to get paid as much. What did you think was happening with the money? That's what funds the games. Part of the games is the payout. And this is a while ago, right? I'm just using this because I think it is the perfect real life example of maybe my $20 and the withholding of it actually goes against another principle that I have, like, I don't know, for the athletes, because the same crowd that boycotts CrossFit is the same crowd that loves the WFP, which is supposed to be for the athletes. This league that has been created that's going to treat the athletes better and all this stuff. But you cannot get around the fact that At the same time, while you might say that I'm just not all about HQ supporting the military, or I'm just not about HQ and how a dude died, I just don't like the Savan network and the fact that HQ kind of lets them behind the scenes, all these different things that I've heard. But the fact is that another one of your ideals is supporting the athletes. And if you don't pay the $20, you're not supporting the athletes, period. When you don't pay the $20, you lower the athlete prize purse. It's that simple. If you're in the WFP and you're saying, yay, the athletes, that's great. The best thing that you can do for the athletes and how they get paid across the board, not just in the WFP that's going to be bankrupt in 2 years, not bankrupt, but the person who's signing the checks, the lady, she's just going to be sick of signing the checks and not getting anything back for it. That whole thing, when it's gone, we're still going to have the CrossFit Games and they've got to get paid. And by all banding together and being like, yeah, we're still not doing this. We're going to boycott WFP. You are absolutely hurting the athlete's prize purse. And you've got to square all that. That's not HQ guilting you. That's a very wise decision by HQ. Very smart on their part. So sign up for the Open. Don't sign up for the Open. But if you're one of the people who says that you support the athletes and you do the Open, but you don't give your $20, you're kind of a hypocrite. Accidentally. HGR CBD now has Gazan gummies, the best natural anxiety relief that I've ever had personally. Now with no dyes, it is getting reintroduced to the market with new flavors. I'm going to keep you posted. It'll be all over my stories on Instagram. Okay, let's get into the whole 26.1 thing and what I think the workout's going to be. Dave Castro had a video that came out in which he was going through 26.1 with a high-level athlete. And unless that video is just complete trolling, we have a lot of information from it. I don't think that there's anything deceitful. The reason I don't think that is because the way that Dave operates is that he won't really lie about things. If he's asked something and he doesn't want to give you the answer, he doesn't give you the wrong answer. He just says, next question. We've seen this in interviews a million times. Or like when I asked him for last week's Week in Review if there was going to be new movements or not, he just said,
possibly.
But after he went into a bunch of stuff, and the answer was basically yes, there is going to be new movements. Not a new movement, but a new variation of something, which is going to play in a lot to what we think the workout is. And he's been programming these like he did in China, I believe, when he was on that trip with Andrew Hiller.
Gosh darn it, freaking China.
Korea.
Same, but different.
When he was in Korea. It's freaking racist, man. Why would they go to China? I don't even think China has CrossFit. Are they allowed to have CrossFit in China? Anyway, Dave Castro said that the workout would be accessible, but that it would hurt. You'd have to go to a dark place if you want to do well on it. His goal was for it to be accessible, but for it to hurt.
Something that's really painful, but also really accessible, where a lot of people can do it.
He mentions at one point, will the everyday athlete get to the...
Like, hey, I hope I can get to the...
And it sort of cuts off, but you might hear a "ka." It sounds like there's a "ka," but I'm not sure I trust it. If it does, I think that it's cut off, as in the cutoff in a tiered workout or a gated workout, like 23.3, where you get to 6 minutes, and if you finish, you keep going, you get more time on the clock, but you get harder movements. Cap, something like that. I don't think it means get to the cleans or get to the calories. It doesn't really make sense. He didn't have thumb tape on, like he was cycling a barbell. Didn't have a lot of chalk. He did have sweatbands on, but there were no grips anywhere to be seen. You know, Dave was asked while he was sitting at the table whether a certain movement would be at the beginning or the end of the workout, or so I thought. But when I went back to watch them, they said, is it going to be at the beginning or the end?
So where would you place that?
Thinking about it in the beginning, everyone can do it. Just a matter of how far you get, right?
And he said, I'm thinking the beginning. I think it's more likely that he was talking about where the workout was going to be placed in the Open. He asked the athlete if he thought that people would go unbroken.
Most people do it unbroken.
There'll be a handful that probably start feeling sorry for themselves.
And they had made bets on whether or not he would go unbroken. Dave said, I'm happy that you did.
I thought about it. Yeah, I heard you guys kind of putting a bet. Is he gonna break? Is he gonna break?
I'm glad you didn't.
So there was a question of whether or not this 99%er was going to go unbroken, and he thought only the good athletes would go unbroken. So all this talk about the workout, that was the workout of the day for CrossFit the other day, that was like 30, 27, 24, and I believe it was rower calories and then burpees over the rower, as well as dumbbell snatches, wouldn't really make sense because nobody high level is going to have a problem cycling through 30 dumbbell snatches. That's not something you're questioning. Hey, are they going to go unbroken on the 30 dumbbell snatches? So I think it's got to be wall walks. But without a doubt, what we saw in the video was a rower in one position, and then the rower's gone. Could it have been being used for a warm-up? Sure. But I think the rower was being used. I think we hear squeaking shoes in the background. When you look around, there's really nowhere where he would have been doing the wall walks. So I think that it was burpees over the rower, which has been getting programmed in a lot more. Dave programmed it in Asia, Korea. It's a movement that I think should have been in the open for a while. It's a really easy movement to implement. It's a really good one when you've just got a row and you've got burpees, right? We saw it in Beat Bagent, which was Andrew Hiller's version of it, which was 100 cal row and then 100 burpees over the rower, which was fairly brutal. I think that this is going to be something similar, but I think it's going to be broken up into rounds, and I think it's going to have wall balls because that's the only thing that makes sense when you talk about unbroken. Oh, he didn't have knee pads either, so. And of course, the burpees over the rower, yeah, that's the new movement that Dave was talking about, sort of.
The way I would frame it is that because pretty much none of the movements are new. They've been around. We're using CrossFit. There are just things we have not done in the open.
It's just an easy thing to set up, right? You get a rower, you do the burpees over the rower, and then we're going to add in a wall ball. Now, worst case scenario for me personally, and when we're talking about whether or not people will go unbroken, is it starting with something like Karen, 150 wall balls, 100 cal row, 50 burpees over the rower, 15-minute time limit. And that would certainly make sense for if you're asking, will everyday athletes get to, because when you really add it up, an everyday athlete, when we're talking about like 60th percentile, they could take 8 minutes on Karen, 15 cal per minute on the row is what, like a 6 minutes for the row, 7 minutes for the row. So they're already to the 15 minutes, and your normal 50th, 60th percentile open athlete might not even make it to the burpees on that type of workout. And that workout would really favor taller athletes. But when we start talking about something like either 4 rounds of 20 cal row and 20 burpees over the rower, 5 rounds, 15 and 15, and then we add in wall walks, I think that's a lot more palatable. So my prediction is either the 150, 150 wall balls rower, burpees over the rower, or rounds of rowing calories and burpees over the rower, 4 or 5 rounds, 20 or 15 on the movements, calories, and the burpees. And although this isn't something that we see that often, my guess is ascending wall balls in the middle. And the other option is the workout that Dave programmed in Asia, which was 10 rounds, 300-meter row. I believe it was 10 burpees over the rower and 10 dumbbell snatches. Only problem with that, again, is the whole thing about, hey, do you think that people will go unbroken? Everybody's going to go unbroken on a snatch of 10 reps. As for the other workouts, I don't think that we're going to get a repeat this year. I think at best it's going to be every 2 years. Ever since we switched to the open that has 3 workouts, I just don't think it's feasible. I think you're going to see ring muscle ups or handstand walking. It's been a while. If we do see a repeat, my prediction is 20.5. I think that's what it was with the partition as you choose. I think the perfect open is opening it up with something with the lateral burpees over the rower and the calories, something like Hiller's Beat Bagent type workout, and then following it up with like a 23.1 and a 23.3 gated type workout. We're increasing the skill and giving you more time if you hit the different gates in the workout, the different cutoffs. The last thing I want to talk about is the magic of the CrossFit Open. If you haven't signed up for the Open, you should sign up for the Open if you happen to stumble upon this page and you're newer to CrossFit and you're just searching things about the Open. I don't even know the story of how I got signed up. Oh, My light just turned off. Oh, wow. So look, the magic of the CrossFit Open is that we all start in the same place. We don't get to compete. I'm a master's athlete, 35 to 39, and there's a stat out there that people, I'm going to be probably a little bit off on this, but basically once you hit 35, nobody ever sprints again. You don't run a 100-meter dash. You don't run as fast as you can around the bases. You don't do the turkey bowl on Thanksgiving morning. If anybody plays football on Thanksgiving morning, like a lot of people do in the Midwest, you don't run for a route as fast as you can. You don't do shuttle runs as fast as you don't do anything as fast as you can. You stop sprinting entirely at 35, which is insane. What if you have to run from a robber? What if there's a war that you have to go fight? You need to know how to sprint. This is functional. And I think that just goes with the fact that people stop being competitive.
Do more sit-ups. I know you're looking for a way to beat me on tomorrow's workout. It's not going to happen, number one. But number two,
after high school and college, what's up with that? Let's go. Come on. You can be competitive at CrossFit until you're 80 years old.
Kippy Abriel makes a douchey comment. He says, I bet I could beat Troy Clay at 100 burpee box jumps for time.
In fact, as we all age, the people who got into CrossFit as they age, a lot of us, 30 years from now, when I'm still competing.
2, 1, go.
And I'm 69 years old, I'm not going to try to beat 30-year-olds. I'm going to try to beat other 69-year-olds and maybe a couple in their late 50s too if I'm really good. This is fun. Adults need healthy competition. Athletes, men need healthy competition.
Take it out on the barbell, not the cone.
And I'm sure if you're an athlete and you're a woman that you want competition as well, most likely. And if you don't, you don't have to make it competitive. But for me, I am. Like, I'm going to beat John Young because he's going to get like 84th percentile because the Open is not up his alley. I'm going to be beating John Young going into the last round, and then he's going to smoke me. But it's going to be a lot closer than you would think. And Tyson Bagent, Andrew basically put out a video that said Grant Hooper's going to beat Tyson Bagent in the Open. It was the video about Simone Biles. He talks about how she's not fit because she's a gymnast. Does Tyson do CrossFit? Yeah. Has he been doing it? No, he's been playing football. The CrossFitter is going to beat the football player.
Right now, Tyson Bagent rowing for the entire NFL football league. Let's go!
Does he even do ring muscle ups? He better get back up on those rings if he does, because I guarantee you after playing in the NFL for the last 6 months and not touching them, he's going to be rusty. And that's why he's going to get smoked. So I'm going to beat John Young for a couple weeks. I'm going to beat Tyson Bagent. I'm going to beat somebody that none of you know about.
We are hopefully going to see Grant versus Sean Lenderman run a mile.
His name's Sean Lenderman.
We've got a list of people waiting in the wings to challenge you.
Good.
We've got Slenderman. We've got Sean Lenderman. What do you think of that guy?
Those are the people that I'm going to beat. But we all started the same place. Rich Froning, Matt Frazier. When they went to the CrossFit Games, they started at the Open. You might be doing it at the gym alongside these people. You're certainly on the same scoreboard. There is no other sport like it. We get to compete, and we spend the whole year working on things, hopefully having worked on our weaknesses, and this is the test for everyone. You spend the whole year working towards this, and then you get this unknown and unknowable test. It's not like the police academy test or the Marine test. It is a brand new test every year that could test anything, so you've got to be ready for it. And then it comes, and it's like Christmas morning. I cannot tell you how difficult it is going to be for me to sleep when I'm waiting for the Open announcement. I cannot wait to hear that workout and do that workout for the first time, the second time, the third time, and probably the fourth time. My name is Grant, and I am addicted to redoing CrossFit Open workouts. I will be there at the gym listening to the announcement and then doing the workout 5 minutes later. I love the Open. I want you to do the Open. I don't want you to do the Open because I'm a stan, like John Woolley called us. I don't really care about your money going to HQ. I think HQ's our best bet to grow CrossFit and get people doing CrossFit and increase an actual demand for the sport that's sustainable. But at the end of the day, I just want a bunch of people to do the Open because it's fun. having a gigantic CrossFit competition with a public leaderboard where you're competing alongside the pros is just fun. Don't be a bunch of fun suckers. When people got hit in the head with baseballs by a home run, they just put up netting. They didn't boycott baseball. Come back to us. The Open is fun. There's magic in the Open, and I want to see as many people on the leaderboard as possible during the Open. I'm really tired. Okay, good night. Bye.
To have a little bit of back and forth. Right, you got to get him on.
I don't know if I'm prepared for
This is the guy.
Oh man, it's not too far from the truth, actually, buddy. Oh, look at you go. Close enough.
Look, guys, my phone's got about 11 minutes of charge. When that charge is gone, we're done. Let's make it snappy.
We've got a list of people waiting in the wings to challenge you.
Good.
We've got
Let 'em wait.
Slenderman. We've got Sean Lenderman. What do you think of that guy?
I hope he's doing PEDs because I am.